What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over my variant of the Shear build that I like to call Wolfsbane. Now, I've been working pretty hard on this build, and even though we've had a few setbacks during the season, I've managed to persevere, and I am super excited to bring you guys this version of the build. So as you guys can see in the gameplay footage, we did build this out in hardcore, so we do have the hardcore planner available to you guys, as well as the softcore version, which will be the very first version you see when you click on the Mobalytics link. Also, this will give you guys a good idea as to how to scale up the survivability of this build if you are finding it a bit too hard to survive with the way I have the softcore version set up during your gameplay. Also, I did want to mention that this build is incredibly casual friendly. In fact, all of that gameplay footage you've seen at the beginning of the video was done with gear that was only up to rank 8 and not re-rolled past rank 4. And as I'm making this video, my Tempest Roar is still only rank 4. So just in case you guys missed my Lilith kill video with this build, let me go ahead and show you what the gear looks like. So here we have just a standard Tempest Roar. We did manage to get lucky and find a greater affix to defensive skills on our chest piece. We have a greater affix to willpower on our gloves, just a standard set of temerity here. We got super lucky and found a greater affix of armor on the boots. Then we just have a standard staff here with the affixes we want. Then we have just a standard amulet. We managed to find ourselves a really good ring with 2 greater affixes. And then on our second ring, we got a greater affix to max life. So as you guys can see there, we did manage to find ourselves some pretty decent gear. And I did manage to get pretty lucky on a few of my masterworking crits. However, like most of you, I do not have billions of gold to constantly reset my items to have all the best in slot gear. So you can be assured that if you do use this build, you will not have to put countless hours into grinding the best gear to get a similar result that I've had. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the build. So for our science skills, we're using Shear, Debilitating Roar, Cyclone. We're using Earth and Bulwark for our Unstoppable. We're grabbing up Blood Howl as well as Maul. And Maul is just here to make it easier for our Quick Shift and Heightened Senses buff, as well as our Bestial Rampage buff. Then for the boons, we are running Wariness on the Deer, we are Spirit Bonded into the Eagle, and we're picking up Iron Feather, as well as Swooping Attacks. For the Wolf, we are going to be running Bolster, and then on the Snake, we are running Masochistic. Then for these tables, I did go ahead and add some information that has to do with different variants of the build. So if you are interested, go ahead and give them a quick look over and see if it has any information that might help you with your preferred playstyle. Then moving down to the aspects and uniques, we are going to be running Tempest Roar on the helmet, Aspect of Might on the chest, Rapid Aspect on the gloves, Temerity on the pants, Hectic on the boots. We are running a 2-hand staff with the aspect of Moonrise. On our amulet, we are going to be running the aspect of the Calm Breeze. On our first ring, we're running Adaptability. And then on our second ring, we are going to be running the Conceited aspect because we will always have Barrier because of Temerity. Now for our affixes on the chest piece, we are running Max Life Armor, ranks 2 defensive skills. Now this can be ranks 2 Debilitating Roar if you prefer, Debilitating Roar duration, and then a lucky hit chance to immobilize. This can be immobilize, freeze, or stun. It's really your choice there. For the gloves, we're running max life, attack speed, and willpower, and here we're picking up damage to distant enemies, and then again another utility slot with the lucky hit chance to crowd control enemies. For the boots, we are running attacks reduce evades cooldown, but evade stacks are fine. However, if you do manage to find a pair of boots with a greater affix to armor, it is worth going ahead and sacrificing those implicits just to have that ability to cap your armor with 1 piece of gear. Then for the affixes, running max life, armor, and willpower, we're also grabbing up bonus to Digigrate Gate, as well as, again, a lucky hit chance to CC enemies. On the weapon, we are running a 2-hand staff, and that's really just to give us a faster attack rate. Then we're going to be running max life, damage over time, as well as willpower, then damage to distant enemies, and obviously we're going to be picking up a chance to cast Shear twice. For our amulet, we're running cooldown reduction, max life, and willpower, and then picking up more damage to distant enemies, as well as bonus to Digigrate Gate. Then for our first ring, we're running max life, attack speed, and life per hit, and that life per hit is there, so that way we can maintain our barrier without needing to spam our potion, our blood howl, or our debilitating roar when we don't need to. Then obviously we're going to be picking up more damage to distant enemies, and then the 5th affix doesn't really matter. However, if you do like to run wolves, go ahead and get cooldown to the wolf skill. And then for the second ring, we're running max life, attack speed, and willpower, and again, some more damage to distant enemies. And also, again, if you're running wolves, go ahead and get wolves cooldown. Then onto the gems, we're running topaz on the weapons, sapphire on the armor, and diamonds on the jewelry pieces. Now for my hardcore variation, I am running rubies on the armor because I really don't want to die, so I have all that max life increase. Now if you are finding yourself a bit too squishy here, I would recommend going ahead and swapping out some sapphires for rubies just to increase your overall health pool. But I think a solid point for effective HP for softcore will be anywhere from 100 to 120k when combining your total HP pool with your max barrier from temerity. And then down here in the build summary, I did go ahead and add my preferred elixir. So I always run fortitude with this build, and when I'm pushing into higher tier pits, I really love the anti-venom elixir because it stacks with fortitude and gives you a massive buff to your overall HP pool. Moving on to the skill tree, we're picking up 1 point wind shear and then moving into fierce wind shear for the movement speed bonus. Then we are going to be picking up 1 point maul. Again, that is just for the quick shift, heightened senses, and bestial rampage buff. Down to our core skill tree, we're picking up 1 point predatory instinct, 3 points Digigrade Gate, and 3 points Iron Fur. For our defensive skill tree, we're grabbing 1 point Earthen Bulwark and then 1 point Enhanced Earthen Bulwark, so we have the Unstoppable. Then we're grabbing 5 point Cyclone Armor and then moving into Preserving Cyclone Armor. We're also picking up 1 point in Howl and then moving into Preserving Blood Howl. Then we're grabbing 5 points Debilitating Roar into Preserving Debilitating Roar, and then obviously we're picking up 3 points Ancestral Fortitude and 3 points Vigilance. Down to our companion skill tree, we're picking up 3 points Nature's Reach, which is going to be receiving a buff in this coming up patch. Then moving down to our Wrath skill tree, we're just picking up 3 points Neurotoxin. You don't really need 3 points. You could use 1 point and you'd be perfectly fine. And then for our ultimate skill tree, we're picking up 3 points Defiance, 3 points Natural Disaster, and then 3 points Resonance. And then we're going to be picking up 3 points Quick Shift as well as 3 points Heightened Senses. And then for both hardcore and softcore variations, we're going to be running Bestial Rampage. Now down here in the skill tree table for the softcore variation, I did go ahead and add instructions if you do want to run the electrocution glyph, so that is here if you are interested. Moving on to our Paragon board, you will see that throughout our boards we are picking up a lot of max HP, and that's because pretty much every build does if you plan on surviving in high tier content in Season 4. So for our starter board, we are going to be running Keeper. Moving into our second board, that is the Constricting Tendrils board, and we are going to be running Protector here because we will always have Barrier, so we'll always have that nice damage reduction while we have a Barrier. And then we are going to be picking up all of the magic nodes for the max life here. Now for the third board, we are running Heightened Malice as well as the Earth and Sky glyph. Then for our fourth board, obviously it's a no-brainer. We're running Thunderstruck as well as the Tracker glyph. And then for our fifth board, we're going Ancestral Fortitude and picking up Territorial here. And then to close it out, we're running the Inner Beast board for our sixth board. We're slotting in Bane, we're picking up some HP, and then we're moving into the Heightened Malice Legendary node. But that's really it for the video, guys. Like I said, I am incredibly happy to have this one done and get this video out to you guys. I've been having a ton of fun playing this build in hardcore, and if you are going to try out some hardcore this season, or you're an avid hardcore player like myself, go ahead and give this build a shot. And maybe if you're already playing a wind shear variation this season, maybe go ahead and see if there's something in this build that might help you push your build a little bit further. But now that we have this one done, I am going to revisit my pulverized build because it is going to be receiving a pretty big buff in this coming up patch. And my hardcore version of my previous pulverized build did manage to reach over tier 80 in the pit, and I was feeling pretty comfortable that I could have gotten even higher. However, I did go ahead and put that one down to start working on other builds for the season. So I am pretty excited to go ahead and give it another go round and see if I can't tweak it a little bit more to make it just a little bit better. But anyways, guys, as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments section, and I will be leaving links to all of my builds down in the description of this video. But as always, I hope you guys are having a great day or a great night, depending on wherever you're from, and peace out, guys. I will see you in the next one.